Hey guys, in this video I'm going to tell you about 3 different ways you can knock down popcorn ceiling texture from your ceiling. If you're new to this channel, feel free to subscribe. I do lots of DIY home improvement videos. It's super easy to knock down popcorn ceiling texture. You really don't need to hire someone to do it. The first way is to buy one of these, a popcorn ceiling scraper, a Homax one, or I think you can buy it on Amazon or at Menards. Pretty cheap. It has this metal frame where you can attach a plastic bag underneath. It comes with these clips to clip it on. And then when you're scraping, the ceiling texture will fall into your plastic bag. And then, every so often you have to empty out your bag into some other container. I've done a room using that method. The second method is to knock down popcorn ceiling texture just by using some sort of handheld, blade like this. I've been using that method today and I actually really like it, and it seems easier to control. The third method is one that I probably wouldn't recommend. It's very messy, but I did try it just so I would know, and that is to use a pressure washer to just put it close to the ceiling texture and just spray it off. Depending on the sheetrock on your ceiling, it may or may not gouge into the sheetrock. You don't want to get too close, else it will for sure gouge into it. So regardless of which method you use, the process is basically the same. You get your ceiling damp by spraying water on it. You can use a pressure washer, that's my favorite method, super fast. Or you can use a handheld pump, to pump in some water, maybe some soap in it, and just kind of spray it, leave it for 15 minutes, come back, and then you can start scraping the popcorn texture off the ceiling. Knocking down popcorn texture is very messy. You want to make sure you cover things or that you have some sort of container to knock down the texture onto. Another good thing to do before you spray your ceiling is to cover your lights. If you're knocking down the popcorn ceiling texture in the room, from my experience, it probably takes about an hour or 2 per room. I mean, you should be able to knock down most of the texture in about an hour. It really isn't that hard. You have to then go by afterwards and you just kind of gotta get anything that you missed and kind of smooth it out. And then I like to brush it off with a broom after it's completely dried. Then paint it with a coat of primer and then put on some sort of ceiling texture or ceiling paint. Oh, yeah, woo! This feels so good. I love this feeling. By the way, this is really hard to do if someone painted over the popcorn texture with some sort of other paint. So hopefully they did not do that, else this could be a pain for you. I'm not too worried about this floor because we're actually planning on tearing it up and replacing it, but you probably would want to put something underneath it to catch it because this would really be hard to clean up. If you're going to paint this board, you'll want it to be totally dry. I like dusting it off with a heavy-duty broom afterwards to knock down any dust. And then it's good to put in some sort of primer to seal up the ceiling, because if you don't and you try to put some sort of white ceiling paint, this will bleed through and you'll probably have to use several coats. We had that problem in another room that we were doing. So this is what it looks like after you knock down the popcorn ceiling and then just do I did some sand grit texture paint. Look at that, doesn't that look so much better? And like I mentioned, you'll want to put on some primer before you do this, else you'll probably have to do several coats because the colors, the yellow just kind of seeps through the board unless you somehow seal this. When you are knocking down popcorn ceilings, it is a really good exercise for your triceps and your deltoids, your shoulders and your arms. So just be prepared for that. This is what you don't do. You push and then, oh no, I gouged it. Oh boy, no. That's okay, we're gonna putty over it, sand it, and paint over it. But you wanna be a little careful, because if you push too hard, or if you get this ceiling texture too wet, you're probably going to gouge it pretty easily. It's not the end of the world, but just be aware of that. There are kits on Amazon for under $50 where you can order an asbestos test kit, and all you have to do is just knock down some of the popcorn texture into a little baggie, and then you send it in to this company. And then within a few weeks, they give you results. They'll send you an email with an attachment that says if there's any asbestos in the sample you sent them. I did that, and they got back to me. I think it took a few weeks. I didn't have any asbestos in our ceiling, luckily, but that's a good first step to do, is to get your popcorn texture tested for asbestos. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Oh, my arms, the burn!